What is this?
This is a crash pad. I've been wanting one of these my entire life.
What's a crash pad?
A crash pad is what you can jump onto from high distances and not hurt yourself.
Is this what the big Hollywood stunt guys use?
This is what the big Hollywood stunt guys use. In fact, we bought it from big Hollywood stunt guys.
Oh snap, is that what I think it is?
Oh shit! Yeah, we want this.
It hasn't been broken yet.
Wow.
Oh, it's stiff.
Remember what Brett taught you?
So today we're with Chris, who works at Leica, and he has brought a very special piece of technology that I've just been oogling over. As you know, we like to recreate like digital environments in many ways. Sometimes we'll take an HDR scan of an environment to project lighting and materials and reflections onto digital characters. Other times, like in anime self-driving cars, we'll like photo scan an entire environment with like a drone and stitch all the photos together and map it out to create a virtual environment. But Chris here has brought a special tool that can kind of do all that in one.
So this is the Leica BLK 360, typically used more in the construction space, capturing 3D scenes to a couple millimeter accuracy. But now we're starting to get traction in the visual effects industry, and that's why we kind of teamed up with you guys to try and check out some of those workflows.
Our goal for today is to photo scan our studio and the loading dock and basically get a 3D model and a digital recreation of our entire workspace. Previously, when we film a video like Boston Dynamics, for example, when we have to render out our 3D models of characters, we'll use something like an Insta360 camera here because basically we can take multiple photos of an environment and create an HDR image. And that HDR image allows us to relight the environment and tell our 3D models where the light sources are, and it also adds realistic reflections for that real world environment. The whole Boston Dynamics videos, you can watch this. Every single shot of the robot there is using an HDR map that we took during that shot on set. And that's what helps those robots just blend in so well with the environment.
As this rotates, then this whole thing spins. You've got a single laser beam kind of going like this. Rotates 180 degrees, but then you're collecting, full 360 because you're capturing that slice all at once. There's 3 cameras right here. So as it goes around, it's first stage it goes around. Each one takes a snapshot. If you got the HDR turned on, it's 3 stage. So each one will fire off at 3 different lighting settings. And then as that goes around, it does 10 stops. So you essentially end up with 30 photos that are stitched together into a one total of 150 megapixel image. So from a single location, when it shoots out, it's got a maximum range of 60 meters, so about 200 feet. So that's in full 360. Essentially the only kind of blind spot is pretty much the footprint of the actual tripod right here. That's just from one location. But as you do multiple setups, you go along, and as long as you have it set up so that there's overlapping data, you can register those together. So you could do entire building and go from room to room. Doesn't matter. There's really no limit on that.
Yeah, today we're gonna go space to space here and scan our studio. And then next time we have to film anything here, or maybe even use this 3D model we've created, we have it right here on hand.
Oh! Yo, I can do that too. Ooh. Hey, I can do that also, again, one more. Whoa. Whoa. Damn, I didn't know you had that in you, Wes.
He's on his
Jackie Chan.
Matching it.
Wait, Clint, let me clothesline you.
Yeah.
Just quick.
I've never done that before. I don't think I'm gonna do this.
Stop breaking it in, man.
What? What? Where did this come from?
I got it.
I went to the bathroom for like 1 minute.
Trick shots.
Nice. Hey.
If we put this under the railing.
That just hurt. My brain molecules.
That new crash mat kind of smell to it.
This is supposed to be safe, Nico.
It is safe.
If you practice.
Ren doesn't have brain damage. He's just always like that.
I have a huge headache now. Like instantaneous bad headache.
Dang! Ren doesn't have a crash pad inside of his skull, so his brain's still hitting his skull.
So, when you scan a 360 HDR of an environment, you're basically getting a giant sphere that surrounds your environment. The problem though is that that sphere, it's not in 3 dimensions here, it's in 2. Imagine I'm inside a sphere here of light, but the problem is that when you scan it in 2 dimensions, that light sphere has to kind of move with you because it's at an infinite distance. It doesn't actually move with your scene or anything like that. So when you have an issue like this where you have a scene that has a single top light, when you scan your HDR, whenever the character is standing directly beneath the light, it's going to look completely natural. But suddenly, if the character steps in 3D space away from it, that 360 HDR, it's not going to move away. It's going to stick with your scene. So when it came time to render that video and light it and do all that stuff, we had to basically go through and in 3 dimensions put light sources back where they were. However, when you start using this, and you have the LiDAR that actually scans your environment in 3 dimensions, you can feasibly have a fully functioning 3D lighting environment that allows any characters to walk around in it and have the light sources react appropriately. It's a long-winded explanation, but I feel like that's as concise as I can possibly make it.
You know what we have to do though, right?
What?
We have to go put it over there so we jump off the balcony.
Is that a good idea? Is this?
That's probably way too high. We definitely need to break it in.
It's quite a bit higher when you're up here.
Too much to lift. Don't do it, Ren.
Ren, you're just following your cat instincts. Come down. This is not safe.
Okay, okay.
Stuck up there, Ren. I like how we're doing this around the most dangerous things we could be doing this around. Like there's a guillotine here.
We must jump from higher things.
The ground is not high enough.
Everybody, there are proper ways to fall on a crash pad. We are having fun breaking it in, but...
Ren!
Warm up to this, Ren.
Don't do it, Ren!
That is, you feel the acceleration. Oh my God. Just that extra like 4 or 5 feet there is a big difference. I can't hang on any longer, dude.
Click! Hang on, man. Hang on. Hang on.
Hang on. Oh!
Like you're supposed to hold it? Like even if you... No, but if you get the thickness...
I don't think that makes sense.
Dude, that almost just took the camera out, dude. I know.
You see his shoe? His shoe went up there.
Still hurts my brain.
So how do you like the crash mat so far?
I like it. Clint's about to like pile drive me or something.
Shut still.
What are you doing?
I was just gonna jump over you.
So we do have, a few different settings if you want on here. We can do low res, medium res, high res. So that's just a number of actual points you're taking. Then you can change the imagery to be LDR or HDR. So the higher resolution the actual point cloud is, the longer it takes. So it can range anywhere from, a 40-second scan all the way up to about 6-minute scan, depending on the settings you use.
It would be great to do like the HDR scan because I'm okay with the extra data because we can definitely use it.
So scanning, if we did a medium resolution point cloud, which is typically you're probably putting around about 15 million points, and then the HDR turned on, it'll take about 4 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
See you guys in 420.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll catch you guys later. I gotta go.
Oh, dude. Are you alright, man? Oh. Clint, here's your glasses, dude.
Oh, for real, I gotta get going, guys.
Here, man.
Let's go. Nico, I'll catch you later, dude. I'll see you later. Peace out.
Oh, did you actually hurt yourself because you didn't take your backpack off?
No, for real, I gotta go though. I gotta go. I'll catch you guys.
Dude, get out of here, man. You're crazy.
Wait, what are we gonna do? Whoa! Why is that so squishy?
I don't know if that was a squishy sound more than a fart from Clint.
Oh, it smells bad, dude. Oh my God. I would double check your pants, man. That one didn't smell like air.
That might have not just.
All right, for real this time, for real. I'm leaving.
Bye, Clint.
See you, dude.
So the scan's done. How many scans was that? Like we went through the loading dock, through the hallway, studio, and a couple of the cool rooms here.
About 13, 14 scans. All these scans really don't know where they are in 3D space. So it all comes to overlapping data. So every time we set it up, we make sure there's overlapping data between those, and then essentially like putting a puzzle together. Just get it close to where it should be. Say, hey, register with that one. Hit optimize, and it snaps it together.
Oh my God.
Create link.
That's so stupidly easy looking.
Pick a point, tap the screen, and then find a point. Just
So you can just measure it. Oh my God, that's so cool.
again, now it's just the point cloud, and then depending on what you want to use it afterwards. I mean, you can do things like mesh this data and texture it, or like I said, using it for reference and the HDR stuff.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to get to having a full version of this model that we can use for upcoming videos, and potentially even to use as a virtual tour for anyone who wants to see what our studio is like. Yeah, well, yeah, man, thank you so much for coming by, making the time to come out here.
Yeah,
I know you have a packed schedule showing everyone wants to see this. So I'm really glad we got to do this, and hopefully we can get this out to you guys so that way you can take a look and see what our studio is like without having to fly out here.
Yeah.
The most convenient
Or work
thing.
here.
Or work here. Yeah.
So you guys dude, you guys gotta keep. All right, for real.
He forgot his bag.
Gotta move the crash pad.
All right, let's move
Because
now.
like when I come rushing back in to get my bag, like if it's right in the middle of the door, like I'm gonna fall over.
Yeah, we'll move it. We'll move it.
Okay.